I twisted the key in the lock again, but it just ground against the tumblers, refusing to budge. The brass handle felt cold and alien under my palm, like it belonged to someone else's life. Behind me, my duffel bag sagged against the wooden porch rail, a hospital discharge form peeking out alongside Jack's worn leather wallet. The crisp Colorado morning air nipped at my skin through my thin denim jacket. I was still in the same faded jeans and plaid shirt from yesterday, the ones stained with coffee from those endless hours in the ICU. Jack's final breath had echoed in that sterile room, his hand limp in mine as the monitors flatlined. Through the frosted glass panel beside the door, I spotted Margaret seated at my oak dining table, sipping from the ceramic mug Jack had picked out for me on our honeymoon in Santa Fe. Her salt and pepper hair caught the sunlight pouring through the bay windows I'd scrubbed clean just last weekend while Jack dozed in his recliner by the fireplace. I jabbed the doorbell, the chime ringing out like a hollow accusation. Footsteps approached, deliberate and slow. The lock clicked, and Margaret cracked the door just enough to block the entry with her sturdy frame. Her face arranged itself into a mask of practiced condolence. "Emily," she said, her voice carrying that no-nonsense twang honed from years running the local Ranchers Association and charity rodeos. "I figured you'd turn up eventually. What's happening?" "My key won't work." My words tumbled out, raw from exhaustion. She adjusted her pearl earrings, her flannel shirt impeccably pressed. "Jack inherited this ranch from his father. You two weren't hitched long, no kids."
"No prenup."
Her mouth curved into what passed for a kind smile in these parts. "This ain't your place anymore." The statement landed like a gut punch from a bucking bronco. In the hallway beyond her, Sarah materialized, avoiding my gaze as she hefted a box crammed with framed photos. My eyes flicked to the wall where our wedding picture should hang. A faded square of unpainted drywall mocked me instead. 4 years of building a life together, wiped away while I'd whispered goodbyes in a hospital bed. "This is my home," I whispered, my voice cracking like dry earth. "Was your home, honey," Margaret corrected, her grip tightening on the door. "The family's gotta sort Jack's things. We'll box up your personal stuff and ship it wherever you're holed up." I stood frozen, grief twisting like barbed wire in my chest. The sagebrush I'd planted along the fence last spring swayed in the breeze, their silver leaves glinting. Jack had helped me stake them, chuckling at my insistence on perfect rows in this wild western landscape. "You can't do this," I said, but it came out distant, like an echo off the Rockies. Margaret's eyes narrowed. "You'll find we can." She eased the door shut. "We'll loop you in on the memorial service." I stumbled back, legs carrying me down the gravel path on autopilot. The click of the lock chased me like a coyote's howl. My pickup truck sat in the driveway, right where I'd left it 4 days ago when I'd rushed Jack to the ER in Colorado Springs. The key fob was icy in my hand. I climbed in, hands shaking as I fiddled with the rear view. The familiar dirt roads blurred by, the diner where Jack and I shared our first chili cheese fries, the feed store where we'd picked out paint for the barn, the trailhead where he dropped to one knee with a turquoise ring. All of it felt like a ghost town now. I pulled into the dusty trail motel off Highway 24, fumbling for Jack's emergency credit card. The room reeked of cheap air freshener and stale smoke. I collapsed onto the lumpy bed, clutching his hospital ID bracelet. The plastic tag listed his vitals, admission date, O positive blood, no allergies, the cold facts that couldn't save him from the sudden heart failure. My phone vibrated. Margaret's name glowed on the screen. "Emily," she drawled, her tone laced with that fake southern sweetness she'd picked up from her Texas roots. "We need Jack's computer password for the estate docs." I bit back tears, tasting salt.
"No."
Don't make this harder than it needs to be. There are family treasures here. I am family, I rasped. A beat of silence. Then, colder. Not anymore.
Darling.
Not anymore. I hung up. Her exhale cut off mid-threat. 2 years back, Jack had hunched over our kitchen table under the pendant light. Spreadsheets and overdue bills scattered like tumbleweeds. The contracting business is belly up, he'd muttered. Voice breaking. I let everyone down. I'd held him as he trembled. That night, after he crashed out, I'd logged into our joint account, the one I'd built from my landscaping gigs since high school. Next morning, I hit up the bank for a refinance on the ranch house. The approval came quick. I signed solo. My name alone on the deed to shield us from the fallout.
Now,
in this dingy motel, I dug out my old sketchbook from the duffel. The leather was scuffed from years on job sites, tucked behind drawings of desert gardens and adobe patios. I found our wedding snapshot. Jack's grin lit up the frame. Arms slung around me, the sunset turning his sandy hair to fire. I traced his jawline, whispering, I'll fight for our place. My laptop hummed to life. I typed carefully, widows' rights in Colorado property disputes. Results flooded in, stark and promising. They figured changing the locks would break me. They didn't know the grit I'd grown in these mountains. Next morning, I dialed Tom, Jack's old foreman. He picked up quick. Emily, we've been frettin' over you, but his condolences hitched, like a truck in low gear. Margaret cleared out his desk yesterday. Claimed next of kin. I settled in my gut. While I'd cradled Jack's bracelet, she'd been dismantling his world. She said you two were on the outs, Tom added softly. That Jack was crashin' with them before the heart attack. The lie burned like wildfire. We weren't splitting. I was there till the end. My phone pinged, a bank alert. Another login attempt on Jack's accounts. Margaret's fourth since sunup. A knock interrupted. Lisa stood there, ditching her lawyer suit for jeans and a hoodie, my old college buddy from Boulder. She clocked my expression and barreled in. Don't talk to them without me. Not Margaret. Not Sarah. Nobody. I ended the call with Tom. Their lawyer? I sank onto the bed. Lisa booted up her laptop. Margaret lunched with Hank Reynolds 2 days before Jack passed. He filed to freeze the accounts while you were at the hospital. The world spun. I pictured Margaret at my table. That smug sympathy. Sarah moved into the guest room that day, Lisa added. The housekeeper tipped me off. She quit rather than help pack your gear. Betrayal choked me. While I'd held Jack's cooling hand, his sister had claimed our space, ignoring the sketches we'd drawn on lazy afternoons. We need ownership proof, Lisa said.
Deed.
Taxes, anything with your name. I shut my eyes, visualizing the files in Jack's study. The refinance docs I'd signed alone. The back door to the mudroom, I murmured. The latch jams unless you jiggle it just right. Lisa's brows knit. They won't know. A faint smile ghosted my lips. Margaret wouldn't touch a mudroom with a 10-foot pole. That night, under a full moon lighting the pines, we parked a quarter-mile out and hiked to the ranch. I led Lisa around back, past the cacti Jack and I had transplanted. The mudroom door gave with a stubborn groan. Footsteps thudded upstairs. We flattened against the wall as Sarah's shadow crossed the kitchen. She shuffled off, and we slipped in. Jack's study was pristine, still smelling of his pine aftershave and black coffee. I photographed everything: mortgage papers, tax bills, insurance, all in my name. A black binder caught my eye, labeled postnup for Emily only. Inside, pages blurred through tears. Jack's signature, Dated 2 years ago, right after the business tanked. A note clipped. If Mom pulls anything, give this to Lisa. Love you always. This flips the script, Lisa whispered, snapping pics. He saw it coming. Front door slammed. Margaret's voice barked. Sarah? Scour his study again. Gotta be leverage. We bolted out the mudroom. Moon silvering the garden as we fled. Back at the motel, Lisa pored over files. Margaret's probate petition accused me of coercion during Jack's vulnerable state. My name smeared like mud on boots.
My phone lit, Margaret again.
Voicemail. You're dishonoring his memory. Clinks of my honeymoon mugs in the background. I deleted it, fingering Jack's watch from my bag. The strap molded to his wrist. In the bank vault next day, I sealed the post-nup away. Jack's voice echoed, I never want you worrying. His shaky hand that day, not from weakness, but fierce love. I won't let them steal our story, I vowed to the shadows. For days later, at Rocky Ridge Nursery, where I'd picked up shifts, the overhead lights hummed as I arranged succulents, their fleshy leaves cool under my fingers. Through the plate glass window, Margaret's gleaming Ford F-150 rolled in. My hand stilled on a pot of agave. Emily, Sue from the register murmured, squeezing my arm. You don't gotta face this. Margaret strode in, clad in a black Stetson and boots, trailed by her ladies from the local quilt guild. Their faces dripped with staged pity. Tissues at the ready. I just need to make sense of it, Margaret announced, loud enough for the whole store. Jack would have wanted his keepsakes with kin. The agave trembled as I set it down. This was her fourth ambush in as many days, popping up at my work, spinning tales for the town's ears. Mrs. Hayes, a customer interrupted, asking about drought-resistant perennials.
Idovein.
Explaining yucca versus juniper, while Margaret's show rolled on. The belt buckle his daddy gave him at the rodeo, she dabbed her eyes. The old family snapshots. All those cherished moments. Whispers rippled through the aisles. Margaret's rumor mill churning like a dust devil. Emily. Lisa appeared in the doorway. Briefcase in tow. Papers to sign. I followed her to the break room, Margaret's voice fading. She spread docs on the rickety table. Dug these from her files. She tapped Jack's leather-bound journal. Every deal, every family chat, logged meticulously. Jack's script filled the pages, tightening my throat. His cardiologist's report from last month, Lisa added. Heart issues, but mind sharp as a tack. No cognitive fog. They're claiming I twisted his arm when the business folded, I said bitterly.
Letching yap.
Lisa's grin was razor-edged. You're tougher than they reckon. Fluorescence flickered as we prepped for the hearing. I traced Jack's signature on the deed, the same flourish from love notes tucked in my lunchbox. Morning light filtered through the El Paso County Probate Court windows. Margaret arrived in morning black, though Jack was my husband to grieve. Sarah clutched a hanky, dodging my eyes. Their lawyer, Hank, sketched me as the opportunist who swooped in during Jack's downturn. Margaret nodded along, her rodeo buckle gleaming. I sat still, Jack's journal in my lap. Pages of our shared dreams, xeriscape plans, rock gardens, a life rooted deep. Your Honor, Hank intoned. Mrs. Walker exploited my client's son in his distress. If I may, Lisa stood. Our evidence stacked. The ranch deeds in Emily's name solely. Refinanced 2 years back with Jack's full consent. The judge peered closer. Margaret's knuckles whitened on her purse. Plus, Lisa continued, cardiologist confirms peak mental acuity 8 weeks ago. And this post-nup signed and notarized, spells out his wishes clear as day. Margaret stiffened. He never told me. Did you bother a skin? The judge cut in. Verify these claims before fill-in. Sarah shrank as Margaret fumbled excuses, each fib crumbling against our proof. The gavel fell like a thunderclap over the plains. Property awarded to Emily Walker. That evening, Lisa showed with barbecue from the local pit and a six-pack. The motel door kept swinging, old co-workers from my landscaping firm toting covered dishes and Jack stories. Remember him hauling boulders for that big install? Mike chuckled, passing brisket. Said he couldn't let his wife's crew strain themselves. Laughter eased the knot in my chest. These folks knew the real us, not Margaret's tall tales. After they left, Lisa outlined next steps. Sheriff's escort to reclaim the house tomorrow. Locksmith on speed dial. I nodded. Inventorying vanished items. Wedding albums. Jack's drafting tools. Photos scrubbed clean. Look here. Lisa held up a note in Margaret's hand, a list of items to relocate. Her own confession to swiping. Don't matter, I said, twisting my ring. The ranch is ours again. Dawn broke golden over the foothills. I stood on my porch, new keys gliding in. Inside, Margaret's family portraits leered from my walls. Shelves yawned empty. But in Jack's study, wedged behind a cabinet, his sketchpad survived. Final page. Winding paths through native grasses. A wrought iron bench under a cottonwood. Margin note. For Emily, our slice of heaven. This is how I'll honor you, I whispered. One plant at a time. A month on, my yuccas thrust skyward against the frost, thorns snagging remnants of Margaret's discarded gardening gloves, high-end brand, abandoned in her hasty exit post-ruling. I collected the shreds, memories flooding, every fake sob, every staged showdown. The locksmith arrived prompt at 7, swapping tumblers with precision. Nos paras y instructa. Voice steady from hard-won lessons. Inside, Jack's recliner sat vacant by the window, sun highlighting the arm's worn leather where his hand rested during our sunset chats. Security then pulled up as I unpacked our Santa Fe pottery. Full coverage, the tech said. Installing cams and sensors. Records 30 days. Perfect, I replied, mindful of Margaret's knack for accidental run-ins. That afternoon, certified mail arrived, Margaret demanding heirlooms, including my own gifts. Threat of suit for distress. I filed it with Lisa's dossier. Last week's insurance grab had solidified her retainer. Phone rang mid-replanting. Sarah's number. Mom says you're wiping him out. The furniture. The pics. I packed soil around Columbine seedlings, Jack's pics. I'm restoring our home. The stuff she swapped, boxed in the barn. Come get it. Quiet lingered. A roadrunner darted across the drive. Flash of blue. She claims new proof on the postnup. Says she can show. Nope, I cut sharp. Can't prove lies. Line died. I kept planting. Each bloom a stand against erasure. 2 days later, Margaret hit Green Valley Designs, my consulting gig. She breezed in with her guild pals. Grief on display. Emily, let's talk Jack's real intentions. My team circled. Jen blocked with a blueprint. Mrs. Walker's in a meeting. Paul flanked me with samples. Protective, polite. She barred us from our boys' service. Margaret wailed. Tears cued. It was private. As Jack wished, I said firm. The room shifted. Her friends eyed her doubtfully, spotting my resolve. Evening. Lisa brought tacos and news. Her lawyer backed off. Your paper trail's ironclad. Postnup holds. I thought of Jack's foresight, shielding me even from the grave. The memorial flashed, clear Colorado sky. Wildflowers from our land adorning the chapel. True friends filled seats, crew who'd backed his rebuild, neighbors from tough times. Margaret and Sarah crashed in, tension crackling. "You don't belong," I'd said, voice carrying. "You tried to erase us." Sarah's face fell. "She's right."
Mom.
"Let's go."
Now.
Home after work. I found Sarah by Jack's prized yucca. Spikes cast long shadows. She followed inside hesitantly. "Mom said you never cared." "Married for the land." I opened Jack's study. Sketchpad splayed. Designs for our oasis. Dreams in ink. Sarah traced his writing. Tears dotting pages. He drew like this before. Before Mom changed everything. We shared silence. Grief bridging the gap. The garden sighed around us, Jack's legacy sprouting. That night, an envelope slid under my door. Margaret's scrawl, "This ranch is mine forever." I carried it to the plot, burying it under columbine. "Not anymore," I murmured. The flowers bobbed, resilient in the chill, like me, blooming through storms.